When you repeat personally powerful words, you actually trigger the gene expression of stress-combating hormones in your body. You have experienced this. There are certain terms, there are certain words, there are certain images that make you light up. In the ancient texts of many different faiths, they talk about the soul of the eye as the light in the eye. That has a lot to do with how you perceive yourself. That has a lot to do with how you think about yourself. It has a lot to do with the words that you're doing and how those words are triggering these stress-reducing hormones in your body. The opposite is also true. The more that you use negative words, self-defeating words, the more those words begin to interfere with the key decision-making areas of your brain. And those trigger the stress-causing hormones. You have experienced this as well. I am having a bad day. I am not good enough. I don't know if I can sell this. I don't know if I can do this. That person who cut me off on the freeway is insert the preferred term here, right? So you've got to get straight about how it is that you perceive your own value and how you perceive the value of what it is that you're doing. Words not only impact you, but they impact your listener as well. Your words are triggering certain neurochemical reactions in them as well, and how they're going to react to those words, how they're going to react to what you have to say. So how you think about and talk about the value of who you are and what you do directly impacts how you're perceived by others. And I want to break this down for you. And I can't see my speaker notes, so I am just going to go off of memory. So perception determines, so how you think about yourself is how you perceive yourself. How you perceive yourself is how you talk about yourself. How you talk about yourself is how you experience yourself. How you experience yourself is how you talk to others about yourself. How they experience you is how they perceive you. And then how they perceive you is your reputation. How will you be known as a difference maker? The first thing somebody wants to know about you when they are meeting you for the first time, regardless if it is a friend, somebody that you hope to make a friend, somebody you're networking with, a potential client or customer, a venture capitalist, does not matter. A patient at a clinic, it does not matter. Somebody that you're dating for the first time, it does not matter. Everybody has a need. Everybody has a problem to be solved. Everybody has a gap in their life. Everybody's looking for a certain experience. How do you fill that for that specific person? How do you make a difference to them? How will they make a difference to you? But this is about you. How do you make a difference? How are you a difference maker? So I'm going to ask you some questions. And I want to go back because that one slide I love, but it's not going back.
Can you help her?
There we go. Isn't that great? Who wouldn't want to live in this room for like 5 minutes? Because that's a lot of color. All right, so anyway, the questions, what do you want your reputation to be? That's a good one. How will you be known as a difference maker? Awesome. Okay, what makes you remarkable? Do you guys ever ask yourselves that question? What makes you remarkable? In what it is that you do, something makes you fantastically remarkable. What makes you impactful? Everybody makes an impact. Do you know how you make an impact? And then lastly, what makes you outstanding? Because all of you can be outstanding. All of you are outstanding. I wonder how many of you actually will admit that to yourselves and will actually be able to tell yourselves how. I am outstanding because I did this. I am outstanding because I've done that. I am outstanding because I bring this. How are you outstanding? How are you impactful? How are you remarkable? These are key questions for adjusting your perception of your value. Being a stranger to yourself is a burden. If you aren't clear on how you're a difference maker, and if you aren't clear on how you are remarkable and impactful and outstanding, then you are a stranger to your own greatness. And I am not saying that for fluff. I am not saying that for an eyebrow raise. I am saying that because it is the truth. Every single person in this room has value. And every single person in this room has something to say. And every single person in this room is outstanding in some way. And every single person in this room is a difference maker. It's time to discover that. Because then you go out and you own it. Whether you're building a professional or personal brand, relevancy and reputation are key. Here's the problem. You've got a product, you have a service, you have something that you're bringing to market, and you know that it's got a place in the market, but you're stuck. And you're not gaining traction in your market, and you've tried all the marketing tips and tricks, which, by the way, are tips and tricks because they work, but sometimes they don't. And I'm going backwards, because this is like so good. Right? Because we need to see it again. All right, so here's the problem. Let me just summarize it for you right now, because this clicker's got a mind of its own. So we've got a product. I have a product. You have a product. I have a service. You have a service. We all have something. And we're bringing it to market somehow. Whether it is a business, whether it's something, our own business, something we are bringing. We're running for office. We are starting a nonprofit. Whatever it is, we've got something. And we're not gaining traction on it with our key audience. And we've tried the tips and tricks, and they're good tips and tricks. They wouldn't be tips and tricks if they didn't work. And you're just not getting that traction. So what's missing is something called awareness. And I'm just going to click through and get this build so that I don't. All right, so what awareness is public relations. And most people, when they hear the term public relations, there's one of two reactions. There is a, oh my God, I'm out of here. Or there's the reaction of, I've heard it works and I haven't experienced it. So public relations is actually a really, really important tool of reputation. You've heard a lot today about SEO, super critical. You've heard a lot today about social media, super critical. You've heard a lot about making yourself known, super critical. That's public relations. Public relations, though, let me tell you what public relations is not. Public relations is not a press release. That's a tactic for flagging that you have something to say. But that's not public relations. Public relations is not necessarily speaking engagement. Public relations is not necessarily a blog. Those are all tactics. Public relations is actually a strategy for building reputation and nurturing preference. It is a strategy for creating something that we call awareness. Because when companies are aware of you, then they search you out. They know what to search for. And you are not at the mercy of trying to figure out if you got your SEO right, or at the mercy of trying to figure out where you're going to show up in the search. When you have awareness, that means that you have a steady stream of news about you that's going out, and you are establishing something called a point of view. A point of view is an important tool for establishing why you are a difference maker. It is putting a stake in the ground as to what you believe to be true and why you are a difference maker and why people should pay attention to you. This means that you know what it is that you want to say. Most public relations opportunities fail because the person who needed the public relations, the company that wanted the public relations, did not know what their own story was. They didn't know why they were a difference maker. They could not articulate how it was that they could rise above, they could stand out, and they could beat the competition. They didn't know how to tell people what was important. So they're spending a lot of money on press releases, they're spending a lot of money on speaking engagements, they're spending a lot of money on a lot of actions, and they're not getting anywhere. They didn't know how to nurture their reputation. They were just talking about a product, but they were not talking about what they stood for. They were not talking about what they believed in. They were not talking about making a difference. So in my career, I got 25 years of building reputation strategies for a lot of really well-known companies. I'm the reputation strategist who worked with Scott Cook at Intuit to introduce this thing called online banking and online tax filing when only 3% of the United States had internet access. And I'm the reputation strategist who introduced the concept of proflowers.com, which is where you buy perishable goods directly from the grower for a better price. And that is actually the impetus of Amazon. And I'm the reputation strategist that introduced into the public discussion the importance of you having access to your personal genome so that you could work with your doctors in proactive health. Each one of these was successful because those individuals who were behind the ideas understood the difference that they were going to make. And they understood the value of it. And they were willing to go out with a point of view as to why it was important. Each one of you has something that's going to make the difference to somebody else. Whether it's your own idea, whether you're representing a company, whether you are sales for somebody else, you bring something really unique to that conversation. And you need to know how to express it. You need a reputation strategy system. So that's what the Relevant You is. At its core, the Relevant You teaches you how to do PR on the level of a Fortune 500 company. It's a system. That's all it is. It's a system. And it is a system that I developed to help these companies push out their ideas. And I'm making it available to you, and that's what I'm going to, we gave you postcards, we've given you all that. I'm happy to talk to you about it afterwards. But what I really want to dig into are the words. I don't want to stand up here and give you a pitch. But the system is the Relevant You. And I like that name. I think it works. Woo! All right, so let me talk to you really quickly about what relevancy is, because you're going to hear a lot about relevancy if you start digging into business blogs and if you start working with marketing firms. What relevancy is, and I want you guys to write this down, relevancy is knowing that what you have is needed now. Relevancy is knowing that what you have is needed now. People and things and topics are irrelevant when they're talking about something in the past, something in the future, or the wrong audience. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Reputation is born in knowing how what you have will make a difference. When you are clear that what you have is needed now, you're relevant. And when you are clear on how what you have is going to make a difference, you can start building your reputation. A lot of people don't get started in building their reputation because they aren't certain if what they have is needed now or if what they have is going to make a difference, and so they don't know what to say. When you know that, when you are clear on those two elements, you have a lot to say. And there are a lot of people who want to hear from you. So, let me talk to you about weekend words and weekday words. And we're going to do a really short visualization. And then we're going to walk through that workbook a little bit. So, weekend words are what we're trained to talk about. In societies, whether you have studied anthropology or sociology, whether you're a historian, societies are tribal. We surround ourselves with like-minded people because we feel comfortable with them, we share their ideas, or we surround ourselves with people that make us feel safe. We create tribes, and tribes have been around, since the beginning of humanity, and it's now kind of this new pithy term that's being tossed around. Who's your tribe? What's your tribe? So basically what it is who are you hanging around with? Your tribe has a certain vocabulary. Our tribe, as part of an industrialized nation, has a certain vocabulary that we are trained to say in order to establish our place in the tribe. Weekday words are those words on Monday morning when you walk into a meeting and you start talking about quotas, and you start talking about funnel, and you start thinking about your title, and you start wondering if you're in the right category, and you start applying labels. Weekday words are black and white. Weekday words limit your imagination. Weekday words dull you down. Weekday words have a place, but it is a limited place. They have a role, but it is a limited role. They do not grab the imagination of what is possible by coming alongside you. They do not grab the imagination of your customer or client as to the experience that they will get in doing business with you. They do not grab the imagination about the problem that you will solve and how that person will benefit from it. And they certainly do not describe how you are a difference maker. They are not the words of reputation. They are the words of labeling. There is a time and a place for categories and labels, but it is very limited. Weekend words are those words that you have forgotten. Weekend words are those words that light you up. Weekend words are really unique to each one of you. There is no formula. There is no thesaurus. There is no dictionary. It is unique to you. It is unique to your desires. It is unique to your ambition. It is unique to what you want to be known for and how you make a difference. Weekend words are the words of inspiration, aspiration. They are the words of changing circumstances. And they are the words of changing the world. And they are the words of making a difference. The companies who use weekend words to describe their business in their reputation strategies are the businesses like Elon Musk. They're the businesses of Amazon. They are the businesses of 23andMe. They are the businesses who grab your imagination as to how something is going to happen that's going to improve your circumstances, that's going to open your mind, that's going to take you on an experience that is going to bring you benefit, and that you are going to be able to take and go and say, I have solved that problem, I have that answer, I've had that experience. Those are weekend words. They are not fluff. They are not meaningless. And they are not just for those moments when you're feeling relaxed. When you understand what your weekend words, they define the perception you have of the value you bring. Remember, words create neurochemical responses in your brains. Weekend words literally light you up. There have been some scientific studies done at Harvard, Yale, and UCLA, where they put people into the CAT scan, the one where it's a CAT scan or MRI, I get those mixed up. And they put them in there, and they had the people think upon the words that meant the most to them, and they actually could see the different areas of the brain that are I just lost my words. Anyway, the different areas of the brain that have pleasure context, they could see those areas of the brain lighting up. And then when they had people start thinking about the words that brought them down, that hurt them, that harmed them, you could see those areas of the brain shutting down. Words have real impact. Remember the priming I just talked to you guys about? What was about 27 bad clicks ago? You know, your perception of yourself determines how you talk about yourself, influences how you experience yourself, influences how others experience you, influences how others perceive you, influences how they talk about you, which then sets your reputation.